Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with a JP8 report, episode 301. Good morning, everyone. This is James. Hopefully, everyone's doing fine. It's a busy day already. We'll just watch the news and you'll find out. I'll give you some of that in just a few minutes. But thank y'all very much for tuning in. Let's get down to business real quick. Don't forget to click that follow button if you're not already a follower of the JP8 report. Be greatly appreciated. And then click that like button and please share. And then two more things. There's the Rumble wallet is now established where if you want to give me a tip for helping do this in the morning and in the afternoon, greatly appreciated. And then also you can live chat with me while we're on the air, and either I'll verbally talk to you or I'll try to do a quick text message or a chat message on here. Either one works. That's all right with me. And then well, I did get a little update because a lot of y'all know that I went to the VA yesterday. Test results, everything was good to the point where I just got an argument with my VA doctor because these people are so quick just to pump us up with drugs and without any type of explanation. And we went at it. And then she ended up getting what she wanted, but I wanted to instill in her that she's just not going to prescribe medicine to me without explaining to me why she wants to up a dosage of a medicine without any conversation or an agreement with me. And so we both won. She ended up having to fully explain to me why she wanted to increase the dosage of my medicine. And then I won by I wanted to know why, because all my numbers were going good. And just give you, I had a A1C just a few months ago of 7.9, and then 2 months ago I'd got it all the way down to 7.5, and then yesterday she told me, well, it's now 7.4, but we want to up your medicine dose, and it went downhill from there. But all is fair. I'm going to live. But yeah, boy, just please, if you're a doctor, explain the stuff to your patients, because there's nothing more fun in the world than having to take another medicine. All right, yeah, sure. So that's other than that. So the headline is another ICE shooting in Minnesota. We'll get to that in a few minutes. We've got to do America 250 first. Like always, that's the most important thing going on right now is learning our history so we don't repeat it. So the only thing I have for the America 250 for 15 January 1776 is a letter from Samuel Adams to John Adams. And it's like a page and a half, okay? So just bear with me, because good, bad, personal letter, we just got to know it all, right? So get us into the mindset of how these guys were making decisions about the future of our country. All right. So, where am I? Okay. I just saw something on my screen there. Okay, no chat yet. All right. Although, my dear sir, it's from Samuel Adams to John Adams. Although I have at present but little pleasure, I cannot omit writing you a few lines by this express. I have seen certain instructions by which were given by the capital of the colony of New Hampshire to its delegates in the provincial convention, the spirit of which I am not altogether pleased with. There is one part of them, at least, which I think discovers a timidity which is unbecoming of people oppressed and insulted as they are, and who at their own request have been advised and authorized by Congress to set up and exercise government in such form as they should judge the most conducive to their own happiness. It is easy to understand what they mean when they speak of perfecting a form of government stable and permanent. They indeed explain themselves by saying that they should prefer the government of Congress, their provincial convention, till quieter times. The reason they assign it, I fear, will be considering as showing readiness to condescend to the humors of the enemy, and are quickly expressing and totally disavowing independency either on the nation or the man who insolently and perversely demands the surrender, either on the nation or the man who insolently and perversely demands the surrender of their liberties with the bayonet pointed at their breasts, may be construed to argue a servility and baseness of soul for which language doth not afford an epithet. It is by indiscreet resolutions and publications that the friends of America have too often give occasion to the enemies to injure her cause. I hope, however, that the town of Portsmouth does not in this instance speak the sense of that colony. I wish, if it had not been late, that you should have write your sentiments on the subject of your worthy friend Mr. L. They couldn't transcribe that name, who I suppose is now in Portsmouth. If that colony should take the wrong step, I fear it would wholly defeat a design which I confess I have much at heart. A motion was made in Congress the other day to the following purpose, that whereas we have been charged with aiming at independency, a committee should be appointed to explain to the people at large the principles and grounds of our opposition, and etc. The motion alarmed me. I thought Congress had already been explicit through enough, and was apprehensive that we might get ourselves upon dangerous ground. Some of us prevailed so far as the matter postponed, but could not prevent the assigning a day to consider it. I may perhaps have been wrong in opposing this motion, and I thought the rather to suspect it because of the majority of your colony as well as of the Congress were in a different opinion. I had lately some free conversation with an eminent gentleman whom you know well, and whom your Portia, that would be Mrs. Adams, in one of her letters admitted, if I recollect it right, for his expressive silence about a confederation, a matter which your much valued friend Colonel W. Is very solicitous to have completed. We agreed that it must be soon be brought on, and that if we all in the colonies could not come into it, it had better be done by those of them that are inclined to it. I told him that I would endeavor to unite the New England colonies in confederating, if none of the rest would join in. He approved of it and said, if I succeed, he would cast his lot among us. And that was Samuel Adams. And then he added, he had another letter that was dated the 16th of January. So that would be tomorrow. So I might read this part tomorrow. All right. So lots of drama going on inside the Second Continental Congress. The day is Thursday. Yeah, the day is Thursday. All right. So next up is the Dalmatian Burger Group. These are the my buddies here in Coppers Cove. They make smash burgers and dogs in the west side of Coppers Cove. All their ingredients are homemade, including their buns, and they're open Tuesday through Saturday, 5:30 to 7 p.m. until they're all sold out. But they're also open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 2 for lunch. And they're, like I said, they're on the west side of Coppers Cove, behind Bush's Chicken, at the back of the shopping center. All right, go in there and see Corey and his buddy, and they'll hook you up. I like the armadillo. I might just go get one today. We'll see about that. But so that's the. So now we got the beginning of the JP8 report. One other thing before I get into the news itself, I just wanted to remind you to keep this family in your prayers. Officer Garrettson, he lost his life Saturday night, apprehending a fugitive who also killed himself after he shot and killed our officer, the first officer to die in Coppers Cove in the line of duty, we think, ever. And his funeral is going to be Saturday at what we used to call the Bell County Expo, the Caden Bank Center in Belton at 10 a.m. And they open it up for everyone. They're expecting about 3,000 people to be in attendance of his funeral. And then they're going to have a candlelight vigil here in Coppers Cove at Ogletree Gap Park at 6 p.m. So don't forget about that. And then a buddy of mine, he operates a huge Facebook group. It's called the Coppers Cove Hot Topics. He lost his mom last night to a stroke, and we've known the Waters for years, and this is devastating to them. So keep them in your prayers also. All right. All right. So we'll get to the Supreme Court stuff in just a minute. The exiled legitimate president of Venezuela, who won the Nobel Peace Prize a couple weeks ago, Maria Machado, she will be at the White House this afternoon for lunch with the president, and she's supposed to be bringing her Nobel Peace Prize, and she was going to give it to the president because she said that he deserved it more than her. But it's a really nice gesture. I'm sure she's not going to give it the money, but that's okay. But the future of Venezuela is at hand. I got a couple of articles in here about Venezuela, but the U.S. signed off and secured a $500 million sale of oil for Venezuela yesterday. So the wheels are starting to churn, but this lady's going to come visit the White House this afternoon for lunch with the president. I completely forgot about that. But and that was early last week, I believe it was. She said that she was coming to the White House. But it's good. It's a done deal. It's going to happen. And she'll be up there for lunch. And then to start off issues, what are we doing on time? Okay. Let me get my stuff here right. Okay, I'm all set here. All right, so where is that article? Okay, cool. There we go. There was last night when I got home from church, news was like blazing all over the place about Minneapolis again. There was a ICE. Okay, so ICE located a very violent fugitive last night, and they stopped him at an intersection, and they were going to interdict and take him into custody. and said individual decided he didn't want to go to jail and then go back to Venezuela. So he took off through the intersection in his car and crashed it into another vehicle. He got out of the vehicle, took off running, and then this ICE agent was in hot pursuit of him, I guess tackled him, was trying to put him in custody, and a fist fight ensued, just like what happened with the officer here that died this last week. There was a knockdown, drag-out fight. And then all of a sudden, two people came out of nowhere, out of the house over where the fight was going on, with a broomstick and a snow shovel, and proceeded to beat the ICE officer. And then I think it's in the article itself, but I'm going on what I heard in the news. While the officer started fighting the two other assailants, the illegal alien decided he wanted to have some of it, and he started hitting the ICE officer again. And the ICE officer took his weapon out, discharged it, and shot the illegal alien in the leg. And all three of them took off and ran inside of the building. They were eventually detained by ICE. So the ICE officer was injured, and so was that illegal alien. But everyone's alive. But there was a shooting in Minneapolis last night, right? So what the news says in print could always be different from what they say verbally. It says a U.S. ICE agent is in the hospital after being ambushed during an attempt to arrest a Venezuelan national in Minneapolis on Wednesday evening. According to the Department of Homeland Security, the agent was ambushed by two people while attempting to conduct a traffic stop on an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. Adding that the agent fired his gun during an alleged attack because he was fearing for his life and safety. One Venezuelan suspect was shot, but is reported to be stable and is now in custody. Not during President Ottopen's presidency, but definitely during President Trump's presidency will that happen. The incident began about 6:50 p.m. local time, that would be Central Time, when federal law enforcement attempted to make a traffic stop. According to DHS, who added that the suspect was released into the custody of the Biden administration in 2022. The suspect attempted to evade arrest by driving off, but crashed into a parked car, DH said. Then he fled on foot. According to DHS, when an officer caught up to the suspect and attempted to take him into custody, the suspect resisted and a violent assault on the officer. DHS said two additional individuals came out of a nearby apartment while the officer and the suspect were engaged in a struggle on the ground, and the attacked the officer with a snow shovel and a broom handle. The original suspect broke free during the altercation and also began striking the officer with a shovel or a broom handle, according to DHS. The officer fired defensive shots to defend his life because he didn't want to get hit by that shovel because it would have hurt. And the suspect was hit in the leg. All three suspects then barricaded themselves in the apartment before being taken into custody. The attack on another brave member of law enforcement took place while Minnesota's top leaders, Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Frey, are actively encouraging an organized resistance to ICE and federal law enforcement officers. The department also added that the two leaders' hateful rhetoric and resistance against men and women are simply trying to to their trying to do their job, and their jobs must end. Someone needs help on this. Federal law enforcement officers are facing a 1,300% increase in assaults against them as they put their lives on the line to arrest criminals and lawbreakers. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hare said a crowd was gathering at the scene and committing unlawful acts, including throwing fireworks at police officers. He urged the people to leave immediately. This is already a tense situation, and we do not want to escalate this any further. Why aren't police officers from Minneapolis helping ICE to take these people into custody to prevent more rioting on the streets? Okay, he didn't say that. I said that. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Littlefry called the ongoing situation in the city not sustainable. Oh, you ain't doing nothing, Mr. Mayor. You need to get up and do something. There is an impossible situation that our city is presently being put in, he said at a news conference about the presence of 3,000 ICE officers. He was saying there's only 600, 600 Minneapolis police officers in the entire city. Now there's 3,000 agents. You know, the crime rate should automatically just plummet with so many law enforcement personnel on the ground there. But they don't care. They really don't care. They just want more Americans to get hurt and killed, right? That was crazy. I did not expect to see that when I got home from church last night. Now, this afternoon when I do the 12 p.m. Central JP8 report, there is an article in the Texas Scorecard I'm going to read that in San Antonio there was someone rammed an ICE vehicle with their vehicle, I guess yesterday or something. So it's not only happening in Minneapolis, it's happening in Texas still. I mean, people look at Texas, we're trying to get rid of all of our illegal aliens, but there are people actively resisting to prevent that from happening. All right. What are we looking like on time? We got 6:52. All right. So I'm going to escape most of the rest of it, I think. There was no tariff ruling at the Supreme Court yesterday. I mean, well, like I was joking with someone at the VA yesterday. No better way to get a whole bunch of reporters to show up at your location by suggesting there may be news coming out of their building. And when the time comes, the news that everybody wanted to hear didn't happen. There was 4 Supreme Court rulings yesterday. None of them dealt with the tariffs. And they were saying in SCOTUS blog yesterday, because I was reading it while it stopped and stuff like that, the longer it goes without a ruling in the tariffs case, the chances are that the president will win the case. So we will see. The next time the Supreme Court is going to be hearing arguments, or the SCOTUS blog going to be doing stuff, is on the 21st. That's 6 days from now. So, but there's been no suggested release of opinions by the Supreme Court, right? And then, you're right. And then, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So we'll do these other two since we're getting close on time here. Where is it? So if y'all don't know me very well, I love space stuff, right? And we had 2 space stories happening yesterday I didn't get to talk about. 50 years ago, it's been 50 years since we went to the moon, right? So on January 31st, there's going to be a launch window open and for Artemis II, the launch. and they're going to take 4 astronauts. The first Canadian and the first woman. Both of them is be the first for them to leave low Earth orbit, and they're going to do a lap around the moon. Right? It says NASA plans to return humans to deep space next month, targeting February 6th launch for Artemis II, a 10-day crewed mission that will carry astronauts around the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. We are going again, NASA said Tuesday on a post on X, saying that the mission is set to depart no earlier than February 6th. Okay, I thought it was going to be January 31st. The first available launch period will run from January 31st through February 14th, with launch opportunities on February 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th, and 11th. If the launch is scrubbed, additional launch periods will open up February 28th to March 13th and from March 27th to April 10th. For the former, launch opportunities will be available on March 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 11th, and for the latter on April 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's a lot of stuff to swallow right there. The mission is scheduled to lift off from Launch Complex 39B at NASA's Kennedy Space Center, which is really cool if you've never been there. Aboard the Space Launch System, the most powerful rocket the agency has ever built, until spaceship gets operational. Preparations are underway to begin moving the rocket to the launch pad no earlier than January 17th, which is the day after tomorrow. The move involves a 4-mile journey from the vehicle assembly building to Launch Pad 39 Bravo aboard the crawler transported to, a process expected to take up to 12 hours. That's slow. And we are moving closer to Artemis II with rollout just around the corner. Lori Glaze said, we have important steps remaining on our path to launch, and crew safety will remain a top priority at every turn. As we near humanity's return to the moon. This is really good news. The rocket is 322 feet tall. And then the astronauts are Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and then this Canadian is Jeremy Hansen, making Artemis II the first lunar mission to include a Canadian astronaut and the first to carry a woman beyond low Earth orbit, like I was saying. After the launch, the astronauts are expected to spend about 2 days near Earth checking Orion systems before firing the spacecraft's European-built service module to begin the journey toward the moon. That maneuver will send the spacecraft on a 4-day trip around the far side of the moon. This is going to be awesome. Man, I'm so distracted. This is so cool. This is awesome. I cannot wait for this to happen. Man, because every time Elon Musk does spaceship, I put it on my TV and we watch it. It's awesome. And then Crew 11 that's on the ISS right now, they're coming home early because one of their astronauts is sick, and they didn't mention anything about it, but it returned last night, a month earlier than it was scheduled. But pray for that astronaut that's sick right now. All right, what time we got here? We are closing on. Okay, so let me close this out real quick. These are my socials, X and Facebook and ScrewTube, and on True Social. We're about to raid over to Chad Prather. Thank y'all very much for tuning in this morning. I will see y'all in about 5 more hours on the regular JP8 report. So let me initiate the raid while I'm signing off. We're going to Before the Noise with Chad Prather. confirm. The raid is about to happen in 12 seconds. So this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I will catch you on the flip side. I am out. 3, 2, 1, and go.